Assalamu alaikum. This is Shauruk Mujumdar welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. 10.5k technical educational institutions and madrasas to get free Wi-Fi, says Prime Minister. Jatiyo Shongshad passes 9 bills including Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill 2026. EC sets date May 12th for reserved women's seats. Information and Broadcasting Minister urges youth to work for addressing global climate crisis. US and Iran agree to 14-day truce. Control of Hormuz Strait will remain to Iran. Those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman informed the Jatiyo Shongshad apart from making the technical and madrasa education modernized, within the next 180 days, free Wi-Fi will be launched in 2,336 technical institutions and 8,232 madrasas. The Premier said this while replying to a tabled question from Treasury Bench lawmaker from Sirajganj 1 constituency in the House, with Speaker Hafizuddin Ahmed Bir Bikram in the chair this morning. The Prime Minister informed the Jatiyo Shongshad that the government is implementing short, medium and long-term plans by identifying 43 key areas in the education sector, aiming to increase budget allocation to 5% of GDP in the sector. Tariq Rahman said that the current democratic government considers education as the best investment for the nation and remains committed to building a quality, life-oriented and inclusive education system. He also said that the government's election manifesto outlined a plan to gradually increase allocation for education to 5% of GDP. As part of the government initiatives, free school uniforms will be distributed among 2 lakh primary school students across the country within the current fiscal, he said, adding the government has a plan to expand this initiative in all upazilas across the country gradually. To meet the nutritional needs of primary school students, the Prime Minister said there is a plan to provide school feeding or midday meals in all upazilas in phases. Highlighting the government's plans for the education sector, Tariq Rahman said that as per the election pledges, multimedia classrooms will be set up in all primary, secondary and equivalent educational institutions to prepare the new generation for global competition. Noting that the ruling party has made commitments in its election manifesto to make technical education mandatory for all alongside general education at the secondary level, the Premier said his government has plans to gradually establish technical schools and colleges in every upazila and polytechnic institutes in every district. 9 bills including the Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill 2026, Massive Pricing Protection and Liability Determination Bill 2026 and Repeal of Security for Family Members of the Father of the Nation Bill 2026 have been passed in the National Parliament today. Some of the rest bills are the Public Accounts Audit Bill 2026, the Protection and Conservation of Fish Amendment Bill 2026, the Sheikh Hasina Rural Development Academy, Jamalpur Amendment Bill 2026 and the Water Supply and Sewerage Authority Amendment Bill 2026. Regarding the bill, Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed said that the passage of the Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill 2026 will enable further amendments to the Anti-Terrorism Act 2009. The Public Accounts Audit Bill 2026 was passed unanimously after Finance Minister Amir Khusro Mahmood Chowdhury introduced it and proposed its passage to ensure greater transparency and accountability in the receipt and expenditure of public funds. The Protection and Conservation of Fish Amendment Bill 2026 was passed unanimously after Fisheries and Livestock Minister Muhammad Aminur Rashid introduced it and proposed for its passage to amend the Protection and Conservation Act enacted in 1950. State Minister Mir Shah Alam introduced and proposed the passage of Sheikh Hasina Rural Development Academy Jamalpur Amendment Bill 2026 and the Water Supply and Sewerage Authority Amendment Bill 2026 in Parliament. The State Minister introduced and proposed the passage of these two bills on behalf of the Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives. Earlier, the Health Minister told the National Parliament that the nationwide measles vaccination program is starting on April 20th, moved up from May 3rd due to the ability to quickly collect measles vaccines from UNICEF. The Health Minister made these remarks during a discussion on a notice accepted under the rule for calling attention to matters of urgent public importance in the National Parliament. On behalf of the LGRD Minister, State Minister Mir Shah Alam said that various projects, including rainwater harvesting, have been undertaken to ensure pure drinking water and sanitation systems across the country, including the coastal districts. Chief of Air Staff Air Chief Marshal Hassan Mahmud Khan paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Tariq Rahman. The Air Chief met the Premier at the Prime Minister's office in the Parliament Secretariat this morning. The Election Commission (EC) has announced the schedule for the reserved women's seat elections to be held on May 12th. Senior Secretary of the EC Secretariat, Akhtar Ahmed, announced the schedule at Nirbachan Bhavan in capital's Agargaon area today. He said the last date for filing nomination papers for the reserved women's seat election of the 13th Jatiyo Shangshud is April 21st, and the nomination papers must be submitted to the EC at its Secretariat building. The nomination papers will be selected by the returning officer on April 22nd and 23rd next, he said. The EC Secretary said April 26th has been fixed for filing appeals against the nomination papers. If anyone files an appeal against someone, it will be disposed of on April 27th and 28th, he added. Akhtar Ahmed said that the last date for withdrawal of candidature is April 29th, while the symbols will be allotted to the candidates on April 30th. He said the ruling BNP-led alliance will get 36 seats, while the Jamaat-e-Islami-led alliance 13 seats and independent 1 seat. The EC Secretary said all-out preparations have been taken to complete the elections in a fair and peaceful manner as per the schedule. At the press conference, the Secretary of the Election Commission also spoke about the by-election in Bogura 6 constituency and the general election in Sherpur 3 constituency scheduled for tomorrow. He said that the Election Commission has completed all preparations for tomorrow's elections. Information and Broadcasting Minister Jahiruddin Shapun urged the younger generation to actively engage in addressing the world's growing environmental and climate challenges. He made the call this morning while inaugurating the 2 days Green Energy Olympiad at the Sirdap Auditorium in the capital Dhaka. The Information Minister said environmental crises are not like short-term development challenges. Their impacts are long-lasting and far-reaching. In this regard, raising public awareness and bringing behavioral change are important. He emphasized the need to build practical knowledge among young people to promote sustainable lifestyles, responsible urbanization, and development that is in harmony with nature. Highlighting the impact of the global energy crisis and international political dynamics on both the environment and the economy, Jahiruddin Shapun urged integrating education and research with environmental, political and economic considerations to ensure real-world applicability. He described such initiatives as a strategic investment for future generations. The next hearing in the case of enforced disappearances and torture at the Joint Interrogation Cell during the rule of the ousted Awami League government has been scheduled for April 13th, with former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and 13 others, including military officers, as accused. The order was issued today by International Crimes Tribunal 1, led by Justice Ghulam Murtuja Mujumdar after the cross-examination of witness Iqbal Chaudhary in the case. Later, in the same tribunal, the recording of testimony began against former military officer Ziaul Hassan in a separate case involving allegations of enforced disappearance and killing of more than 100 people. Earlier, the tribunal set April 15th as the next hearing date in another case filed against 28 individuals, including former Mayor Sheikh Fazle Nur Taposh, over 3 charges, including the killing of 9 people in the Mohammadpur area during the July movement. Meanwhile, Tribunal 2 has rescheduled April 13th as the next date for the appearance of former DGFI Director General Sheikh Mamun Khalid and former military officer Masududdin Chaudhary in separate cases of crimes against humanity. The historic Ambagan Shahjahan Field in the Kulshi area of the port city of Chattogram has transformed into a vibrant hub of commerce and entertainment as the month-long trade fair commenced. Decorated with colorful lighting, the field is hosting a wide array of domestic and international products. The fair, aimed at promoting local small and medium enterprises, has seen a steady increase in visitors since its opening day. Organizers emphasize that the event serves as a platform for local entrepreneurs to expand their reach while offering shoppers significant variety and special discounts. Visitors can explore a vast collection of products ranging from clothing and cosmetics to food items. A primary attraction for many, especially housewives, is the extensive range of home decor and furnishing products on display. A dedicated amusement zone featuring merry-go-rounds, toys, and interactive rides has become a favorite for children. The fair premises are equipped with CCTV cameras, and a dedicated team of security personnel has been deployed for round-the-clock monitoring to ensure a safe environment for all attendees. The fair remains open daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Traders are optimistic that the fair will significantly boost the visibility of local SME products with its blend of shopping and recreation. The Ambagan Trade Fair has quickly become a top destination for family outings in the port city. Now, international news. United States and Tehran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire Tuesday, barely an hour before Trump's deadline to obliterate Iran was set to expire. Meanwhile, Israel said it supports U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to suspend his bombing of Iran. Tehran said it would guarantee safe passage for maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz for 2 weeks, announcing that the pause would be used for talks with the United States on ending the war. Negotiations were set to start Friday in Pakistan. Earlier, Israel had encouraged Trump to join the war against Iran, its arch nemesis, and in the first strikes in February killed the long-serving Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, which sparked a nearly 2-month war between Iran with U.S. and Israel. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres welcomed the U.S.-Iran 2-week ceasefire while urging all parties to work towards long-term peace in the Middle East. The Secretary General welcomes the announcement of a 2-week ceasefire by the United States and Iran. His spokesperson, Stephen Dujarric, said in a statement. U.S. President Donald Trump told AFP on Tuesday that the United States won a total and complete victory after agreeing to a 2-week ceasefire deal with Iran. Total and complete victory, 100%, no question about it, Trump told AFP in the brief call when asked if he was claiming victory with the ceasefire. Trump said the U.S. has received a 10-point proposal from Iran, which he called a workable basis on which to negotiate. Trump insisted that Iran's nuclear material would be covered by any peace deal, the report said. Meanwhile, Iran is celebrating the 2-week ceasefire agreement between Iran and the United States as a major political and military victory. Government officials have credited the success to the patience of the people and the bravery of the armed forces. International analysts say that the Iranian administration has been reassuring the people since the beginning of the war that the conflict will only end on Iran's terms. They are now presenting the matter that way. In particular, Tehran sees U.S. President Donald Trump's statement that the United States accepted Iran's 10 demands as the basis for negotiations and that the two sides agreed on most of the disputed issues as a major achievement. Following the announcement of the Iran-US ceasefire, Iran's Supreme National Security Council issued a statement. It said Iran's 10-point plan emphasizes some fundamental issues including the control of the Strait of Hormuz. It said a controlled transit system will be established through the Strait of Hormuz for the Iranian armed forces. Meanwhile, as per a report from US-based international news agency Associated Press, AP, Iran and Oman will be able to collect fees from ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz as a part of the two-week ceasefire agreement. AP claims that Iran will use the money from these fees for reconstruction. However, it is not immediately clear how Oman will use the money. Meanwhile, Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid has called the ceasefire decision in Iran a political disaster for Israel. In this regard, he called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a failure. The Israeli opposition leader said Iran is one of the main issues in Israel's national security, yet Israel was not at the negotiating table when the ceasefire decision was made.